My first interest right now is homesteading. This includes food preservation, canning, dehydrating, prepping, and becoming less reliant on supply chains. And we've seen people have always been doing this, but it was a small segment of society. Now we've seen a bigger interest in regenerative agriculture, homesteading, returning to the land because it's mostly spurred by what happened. I think I'm not even allowed to say this word, but pandemic. So I'm not sure. But when that all went down, I was living in an apartment in the city, and I noticed, okay, what are the wealthy people doing? Always watch. Be like, what are these wealthy people doing? Well, they were moving out of the cities like San Francisco Bay Area, and they were going to the country. They were going to cabin in the woods. They were going to places. They're like, why? Because they had to be in an apartment to be close to their job. When the job shut down, they were like, well, I've got kids running around in this apartment. They're not even going to school. Let's go somewhere towards nature where these kids can play outside in the yard, maybe even get a pool. And that way, when we're locked down, shut down, at least our quality of life is not terrible. So oh, oh no. Let me see. That just got messed up. It was recording. My phone was recording me by accident. Anyway, so I wish I could have just been like, oh, everything's shut down. I had a full-time teaching job at the time. I went to remote. I mean, wouldn't that have been so much nicer if I could have been teaching remotely from a cabin in the woods instead of stuck in my little apartment with roommates? But then I moved out and got my own place. But basically, since then, I've been studying homesteading, attending webinars, learning more about gardening. Regenerative agriculture has always been an interest of mine, but now I want to put it into practice. And I've seen every episode of Homestead Rescue on Discovery Channel. If you haven't seen it, it's incredible. It's with the Rainey family, which is Marty and Missy and Matt. And check it out because it's awesome. So number two, this interest seems similar, but it's something called solar punk. And this is something, again, I've always been interested in the environment, but I didn't know there was a term for this. So solar punk is like an ethos of it's like living off grid, relying on technology and building community. So instead of the technology being used to oppress us and make our lives worse, the technology is used toward human needs to serve us. And I'm super interested in container homes as one way to achieve sustainable, affordable housing. And I'm also interested on a global scale in architecture and systems that will distribute resources in the most efficient way possible, and also that have less of a negative impact on the environment. So solar punk is all about humans existing in nature with technology and finding a perfect balance that makes our lives actually easier. Okay, number three, weightlifting. I am interested in strongman competitions, powerlifting, CrossFit, the Highland Games, and these are things I explore on my other channel called Muscle Mommy Central. Number